Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we have a discussion video. But before I get into it, make sure to follow me on Instagram at Fashion Roadman. Now let's get straight into the video. Now the topic and the argument I hear the most in fashion is always, is Raf Simons overrated? And this question, the amount of times I hear it is just mad. And I wanted to say what my opinion is. Obviously you guys can leave your opinion down below. I'm sure most opinions will be different to mine because this is such a captivating question. It divides so many opinions. But to answer the question, is Raf Simons overrated? No. Now if you don't know who Raf Simons is, he's a Belgian designer. He has interned for a member of the Antwerp 6, Walter Van Beirendonck. He's also worked for brands like Dior, Jil Sander, and more recently Calvin Klein. But I'll make a separate video on him, so that will come later. But to go back to this question, a lot of people say Raf Simons is overrated. It's just such blasphemy. In my opinion, Raf Simons is one of the greatest designers of all time. Out of the active designers now, because as you know, people like Angela Mister and all these guys, they don't actually design anymore. So active designers, I'll say he's top 5, maybe even top 3. Thinking of the active designers right now. And I just don't know what leads people to say Raf Simons is overrated. I think the first thing is, with people like A$AP Rocky, he had that song Raf, and that led fashion guys, people who take fashion seriously, to think that, oh, they now associated Raf Simons with the kids who like A$AP Rocky. But I'm like, what does a song have to do with the pedigree of a designer? Raf Simons is great as an understatement. I mean, his archive pieces and his first collections, if you had bought those jackets from his first collections for maybe 400, 500 pounds, now you could resell them for tens of thousands. There's a reason why these things are valued so highly. His designs are so chic, the shapes and the cuts. Now let me explain something about fashion. I think people just see clothes and just think, oh, it's so easy to make that. And when I interned, I started to realize designing is tough, and the type of shapes he gets, it takes years and years to master. I think consumers just see certain jackets and they look a certain way and people just think, it's just an overcoat. But the shape is very difficult to get, and to get it right on different sizes is just crazy. It takes someone who, I'm sure the people who study design know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, the only problem I have is sometimes people take it too far. Like I've said personally, I think there's no absolute possible way Raf Simons can be overrated. There's just no way. However, when people then try to say, people get ahead of themselves, and then people are like, Raf Simons is on Rei Kawakubo level. I'm like, chill out. They tried to put him on that Yohji Yamamoto, Rei Kawakubo level, and it's oof, that's a bit tough, because I consider Rei Kawakubo top 5 designers, greatest designers of all time. I don't think Raf is, I don't think he's in that conversation. He's definitely one of the greatest of all time, but top 5, nah. So that's when I get a bit no, chill out. But going back to the shapes, yeah, he starts so many trends. His shapes are just crazy. All these guys that say Raf Simons is overrated, gee, man. Everywhere he goes, I think he spices up and revitalizes the brand. We can just think of Calvin Klein recently. No one associated Calvin Klein with high-end fashion and stuff. Even though they made high-end collections, no one knew. People only knew Calvin Klein for the underwear and stuff like that. And Raf Simons came in, just changed the whole, how we view and the mindset we have of Calvin Klein. He changed the branding. Now everyone wants to buy Calvin Klein pieces, and just because one collection didn't make a profit, they decided to have an argument with him, and he eventually left. So I just think maybe Calvin Klein is one of those designers he's too complicated for people to understand. It's what I was saying with Mucha Prada and Prada. Prada is just, it's too chic, it's too mature, it's too, it's too classy, it's too skilled. Like the clothes are, it's almost like the clothes are just too good. Like the people just don't understand, and they'll just go for some basic crap, like by some random designer. Like Raf Simons is just levels above the current designers. Levels. Like Raf Simons, when he was at Dior, I remember he used to design like couture dresses, and those couture dresses were like some of the best couture dresses like at the time, hands down. And that's literally what people remember him for. And I think there was like this documentary, it's called like Dior and I, and they kind of like were talking about those. And yeah, what it takes to design couture, it's not like you just, you know, get a t-shirt and put some dead prints on it. It actually takes a lot of skill, a lot of fashion knowledge, a lot of research, because a lot of times with couture people are trying to be very innovative, so you have to learn how to use new materials on fabrics and stuff like that. So he's just miles and levels ahead of like current designers, and to say he's overrated is just, it's crazy to me. It's crazy. I think with Raf Simons, what made him great, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering like, okay, how is he great? What made him great is, to me personally, how I think of it is, with menswear compared to women's wear you can have so many different silhouettes, you can play with so many different shapes, different things, but with menswear there's only so much you can do. Like you can play with suits, I know you can play with suiting and tailoring and stuff, but the variety of men's pieces aren't there. So a lot of designers, once they find their aesthetic, they just stick to that, and just because there's not really much they can change. And Raf Simons, I think, came with some of the craziest, outlandish, most unique designs, especially at the start. Everyone was like, whoa, like we never even thought this could be a thing, where the sleeves are like 5 times as wide as, you know, like blazers with the sleeves 5 times as wide as normal, elongated blazer jackets, elongated sleeves, blazer jackets and all that. And it kind of inspired all these streetwear brands like Vert and stuff like that. All this playing of classical silhouettes, that was all Raf Simons. I don't know of any designer that really brought that to the forefront before Raf. And yeah, man, it's just, I think it just really annoys me that because Raf is now kind of like a celebrity designer and loads of celebrities wear his clothes. Celebrities are always talking about him. A$AP Rocky put him in that song, Raf. And now all these guys, I think that they're into fashion, but I don't think they know enough about Raf Simons. I don't think they've studied what he's done, or they know kind of what impact he's had on the fashion industry. So they just see kids wearing it and they're like, oh, I don't want to wear that anymore because I just see younger kids wearing that because that's what celebs are wearing. It can't be that good, da da da. And that's just not always the case. So that's all I have to say. Obviously, what do you guys think? Clearly, I don't think Raf Simons is overrated. Like, that's just a joke. But yeah, follow me on Instagram at Fashion Roadman. Like this video, subscribe for more. This is the Fashion Archive. I talk about anything fashion, to be honest. And right now, I'm like trying to post every day for 10 days. It's like a 10-day challenge. And then after that, I'll go back to like my weekly posting. And it's just to like see if I can actually do it. Like if I can post daily, because I want to kind of do that in the summer, but I wanted to test it now to see if that's possible. So yeah, if you're wondering why I'm posting so much, that's the reason why. And on that note, I'm out.